Well, Vicki Gunvalson was caught in a hot mic moment calling out Nick Viall, who she claims she doesn't know. We also have Kyle versus Dorit and Katie Maloney opening up about the end of Vanderpump Rules, saying she had already quit the show. So let's get into it. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. I'm at a dance party with Beyonce. At a dance party with Beyonce. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in. Welcome. Oh, my hair is a mess today. Like, get it together. What's up, guys? What's today? Tuesday? Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. Which means there's a new episode of The Pop Report that is out right now. So if you want to learn more about Beyonce, you can check out The Pop Report. New episode is out right now with me and Andy, and we talk about how Beyonce was just named Billboard's #1 pop artist of the century, even though we're only 24 years into this century. So we're barely even reaching a quarter in, but so far, Beyonce. She is the pop artist of the century. So here we are. And yes, look, guys, I'm wearing my new merch that'll be coming out very soon. Look at this is the Zactivated shirt. Zactivated. Dun, dun, dun. Beyonce. Look at with all the lightning. Don't we love it? Are you guys excited for the new merch? It's coming next week. It's going to be on sale very soon. So get ready. Okay. So much to get into today. It was so funny because I went on, we'll get into Vicki and the hot mic moment in a bit, but it was so funny because Andy Cohen just tweeted out that his team is preparing for the Real Housewives of New York reunion. So send in your questions for the cast. And when I tell you the questions that have been flooding in and the comments, the remarks, all of it, people are not happy about the RHONY reboot, and they are just like dragging in the questions. Let me see if I can share some of these with you because it's quite hilarious. We have one from Sergio from Clifton, New York says, will you please all quit and apologize to this nation for ruining an iconic show? Brittany says, lightning bolts are so overrated. Should have done a Thunder Down Under vibe. Rude, Brittany. You're supposed to be dragging the RHONY reboot, not dragging. I'm like, hey, guys, I just announced my new merch. And she's like, lightning bolts are so overrated. Bitch, please. Okay. Sorry, Brittany came and chose violence today. Sheesh. Don't you? It's already printed. It's on the shirt, my love. And I happen to like the lightning bolts. I think that they're kind of fun. And it's a subtle nod at Sandy Balls. But yeah. So here are the other. So people have just been sending in these like super nasty, shady questions for the cast. Real Housewives Ranked says, question for Dorinda. You famously said eagles don't fly with pigeons. What did you think of this bunch of pigeons trying to make flying rats their entire storyline this season? Oop. Jack, Real Reality says, my question is for Ramona. Where are you? Real Housewives Ranked says, question for Andrew Cohen. Why do you keep trying to make fetch happen? We're never going to buy it, however hard you try. It's okay to admit that you messed up and this was all your idea, baby. The fix is very simple. And then she put a photo of Luann. Bravo Housewife fan says, can this be their last season? Like, these are all the questions for the reunion. Housewife Hag says, cancel the reunion like you canceled the season 13 reunion. Oop. Alex from Oklahoma says, why are you showing footage of them making things up and telling each other what to say? They're all trying to self-produce. Nothing about this cast feels real, and we hate them. Not hate them. Christina says, not questions for the old cast. Yeah, they're like, question for Dorinda, question for Ramona, question for Luann. Annika Morgan says Annika Mala from hell. You should have never called me a fat ass Kelly Price. Oh. Melons from New York says, how does it feel to be unwatchable? Bethany's Waterbed says, Waterbed from New York. How do you guys feel? Why do you guys feel the need to make a show so bad? Gossip from Crappy Island says, do you understand this reboot is a flop and needs major retooling? Listen to the fans and axe it. Real Housewives Mania U says, where are you pulling the plug? Shannon Spank says, question from Shannon Spanks and Alt. How does it feel to have ruined a show that was once loved by so many? Kim's House says, hi, question for Andy Cohen. How does it feel to know that you ruined a legacy? The legacy being Real Housewives of New York. Do you agree that you and everyone involved should be fired? My gosh. Countess Luann says, what is it like going from one of the best franchises to the worst? Oof. Philu says, question for Carol. What have you been up to since Bethany read you for not having a career? Jenny says, why are they so boring and why are you so unwilling to accept that this reboot was wrong? You just needed to get rid of Leah and Ebony and all would have been fine. Admit where you are wrong. The reboot stinks. Read a Book says, it's time to stop the charade and bring back our girls. Hashtag phony RHONY. Shannon Spank says, do y'all not know how offensive pregnancy pranks are to a lot of people? Oh man. And then they showed that the season 13 ratings, which were actually the Ebony and Leah season, that they premiered with a season high of just under 1 million views in live views for the premiere in comparison to the RHONY reboot, which had just over 300,000 views for this past season 15 premiere. So people are just dragging them. And then one person I saw said, front of the tree, old RHONY cast, back of the tree, back of the Christmas tree, new RHONY cast. So they are just going hard at the questions. Laura says he won't have any questions for the reunion. I don't know. I think some of these questions are actually pretty good. I would like to know, Ramona, where have you been? You know, I've never seen a show this hated on Bravo. Like we've seen like Lisa Renna be hated or Lala Kent be hated, right? We've seen them turn on certain cast members, Kyle be hated. So we've seen that. But like to have them genuinely just hate the entire reboot and the cast as a whole, like Dubai was boring and nobody watched it. But like New York is boring, not many people are really watching it, and people are actively dragging it online for being terrible. So it's not looking good for them. So Jen says, I'm sorry, but Ramona is a lawsuit waiting to happen. She was on the show for 13 seasons with no lawsuit. Laura says, at least they're all coming together for a good cause. I mean, Cassie says, I miss the old days of Housewives. People are too sensitive these days. They're too sensitive. They're too self-produced. Like, I even thought about it because, like I said, there have been several reality shows that that were in production that I filmed for, been a part of, or were supposed to be a part of. And I think I shared with you guys, there was a reality show that was supposed to happen like back in end of 2022, early 2023. You know, it was in early stages of development. And I think at this point, it's just been put on ice and who knows if they'll end up revisiting that concept. But I thought about it this week, especially. I'm like, would I even do reality TV now? Like, yeah, 2 years ago, I would have been totally down for it. But like, I don't know. I just feel like, can you even make good reality TV anymore? Because everybody is so sensitive. Everybody is so self-produced. Everybody's trying to like be loved by the cast. Nobody wants to, or by the audience. Nobody wants to be hated by the audience because the audience will drag you. So yeah, Danny Gossip Girl says, yeah, I refuse to watch it anymore. I'm so sad to say that because I do not quit. Danny gave up in 2 episodes. I gave up in 2 episodes too. And then I accidentally watched one of the well, I wouldn't say accidentally watched it. I watched it because Bryn had posted something about a feud and being like, edited out of context or something. So then I watched, it ended up being the Clueless episode, which was like so boring. So boring. And it's like when you have somebody as boring as Rebecca Minkoff, and then suddenly you bring her, you're trying to like make her interesting. So we're gonna let her run with a prank to tell the cast that I didn't even watch the fucking episode because I didn't care. But like, it's just yeah. Some people are like, I love it. It's so good. And I'm like, I'm sorry you have bad taste. But to each their own. Hi, Mallory. Welcome on in. Sharon says, I gave up after one episode. Not worth my time. Evalie says, there's no drama. It's not even that there's no drama. It's just that there's no interesting drama. Everything that they do feels like a stunt or, they're trying too hard or trying to have a moment and trying to regurgitate their lines and make it too gimmicky. And it's just, yeah. Matt says, I like Beverly Hills. Okay, well, let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because that is the next topic for us to discuss this week is Beverly Hills, which is better. Which, by the way, thank you, Beverly Hills, because people are like, ooh, RHONY's getting a pickup in ratings. And it's like, well, yeah, because Beverly Hills is back and they decided to make Beverly Hills, which is the most watched housewife show at the moment, the lead-in for RHONY. So, yeah, people are obliging by having to watch RHONY because they just finished Beverly Hills. So you can thank Beverly Hills for the little bump in ratings for New York. People aren't watching it because it's good. They're watching it because the lead-in is right before. And some people just like leave the channel on and they're not like actively watching or they just, don't really care. But nobody's actively turning into it. Russ says that the fact that it follows Beverly Hills is an insult. One of the greatest shows followed by crap. You said it, not me. Sheila says, I thought last night's costume party was good. Didn't even care to watch. Did not even. How many Fs do I give? 0, 0, none, not 1, 0, 0, done. Christina said people keep it on for Watch What Happens Live. Yeah, they forgot to turn off the TV. You guys really I feel like the world just woke up today and was like, we are going to choose violence. Sharon says Beverly Hills is over. Changed to something. Oh, when Beverly Hills is over, she changes it to something else. Got it. Has anyone else noticed Kyle's scenes are filmed with a filter like LVP used to be? Kyle doesn't need a filter. I feel like that's becoming more common. I don't think it's just Kyle's scenes. I think it depends. Like the Kardashians do that. All of them are filmed with like, it's just the way that it's shot that it does have like a bit of a filter over it. I think it's to try and like make it look more like luxe and glamorous. Why didn't they try a cast shakeup for New York? That's what they should have done, right? They should have done a cast shakeup for New York. Gotten rid of Ebony. Well, they couldn't have gotten rid of Ebony. We all know that. That would have been a lawsuit waiting to happen. Imagine they fired her. God, she would have like been up in arms and like, oh, and they kept Ramona. Oh my God. Could you imagine that that reality reckoning? And that was what in 2021? No, the network was not going to fire Ebony at that time. That would have been a real reality record. She would have been the first person to launch, well, I don't know. She would have been the reckoning because remember, Bethany Frankel was trying to do the reckoning, and then like Ebony did an interview, and they're like, "What do you think of Bethany's reality reckoning?" And she's like, "A white woman doesn't speak for me. You better thank a union member." So I don't know. She was just like, she like threw total shade at Bethany. And I was like, when there's a reality reckoning and like all of the stars that are angry at the network, like typically it's better for them to come together because they have a stronger case together rather than like, take shots at Bethany. I was like, that would have been a great opportunity for Bethany and Ebony to unite and like then really take down the network. I don't know. But then Leah decided she was going to be the lightning rod to take them all down. I don't know. So there you go. But Beverly Hills, sorry. We have this Dorit versus Kyle feud that continues to brew. Do we even care about the Dorit versus Kyle feud? Number one, are you team Kyle or team Dorit or team both / neither? Because that's what we're really building the season around. And it's starting to look like Kyle's looking for reasons to be angry at Dorit when I kind of understand Dorit like saying Kyle is not a good friend. I don't know. Well, let's see. I put a poll up on Instagram. I kind of feel like Dorit. I'm a little more team Dorit at the moment. Rather than, I mean, I see both of their points. I think both of their points are a bit exaggerated, but like I would be upset too if somebody like Kyle said that she wasn't that close to Dorit. Like I would absolutely be pissed about that. Like, we're friends, and now you're gonna go out there and say, "Oh, we weren't even really that close anyway." Let's see. Oh, looks like so far 54% of you are Team Dorit, 24% are Team Kyle, and 22% say, "I see both sides." Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So it definitely seems like Dorit is winning over the audience for now. Which, I mean, good for her, right? We want her to thrive. Kyle has been authentic in the past few years. She's not been has not been authentic. She's not being honest. Yeah. Birdie says she agrees with Dorit. Matt says Kyle and Dorit must end their friendship. Well, that doesn't make for a good show if they end their friendship. They need to stay on the show. They need to remain part of some sort of friendship conflict. Otherwise, they are done with the show, or the show is done with them. But mm, I don't know. But so we have Kathy's beach trip, and she's taking everybody. She's like, "Get up, beaches, we're going out." And then she brings them all of their suitcases with Red Bull in them, which was a very random and interesting like product placement. I'm like, do the Hiltons own some sort of stock in Red Bull? Like, why did we I mean, I understand it was in reference likely to her scene where she was with Kyle in the bed. I believe it was in Aspen, and they were sharing a bed together, and then Kathy's like, "Oh, I'm drinking a Red Bull." And Kyle's like, "Are you out of your mind, Kathy? You're drinking a Red Bull?" And she's like, "I thought it was a soft drink." And so I get that it was a nod to that, but also at the same time, I'm just like, but like it's just kind of like a random and like Red Bull, like that's what you're gonna gift people. That's funny. So yeah. No, Red Bull is nasty. I like a good sugar-free Red Bull on a rare occasion, right? Like, maybe, like, a little half of a sugar-free Red Bull, I'm down for. I just like I like that it's very tart, like the way it tastes. It's yummy. But, like, I have to be in the mood for it, and I have to, like, need it, you know? So, Russ says, "Dorit should have been gone years ago." No, I don't think Dorit should have been gone. I'm glad that Dorit's here. I'm glad that that Dorit is activated. I'm here for this version of Dorit. I like this version of Dorit because Dorit can get a little ruthless and toothless. Matt N says, "I miss Denise Richards." Said no one ever. Um, if you miss Denise Richards, you can find her on OnlyFans. It's not that hard to miss her. Um, I remember what happened to her reality show? Remember she was filming a reality show about her family, her family. I don't know what happened to that. But I like this new phase of Drew. But what I think they need to do on Housewives is because like we keep bringing back the old school Housewives and talking about like, oh, who would we bring back? And we need new people and we need fresh blood. What I think Housewives should do is shake up the cast every season, right? Not an entirely new cast every season, but cycle in and out some of the housewives, right? Like, let's take these two away this season and let's bring in a couple of others, or let's bring back an Alexis and bring back a Gretchen or something like, where we can make the show feel fresh every season, right? By changing up the cast and making sure that we have like some veterans from before that have a connection, but also try to introduce some newbies and like, see what we can play around with. Like if we decided to take out a couple of OC ladies and bring back some of the OC, like Heather said, bring in David Bedour's new girlfriend or his new fiance. Are they married? His wife? Bring back Gretchen, like, let's just kind of shake things up because then I think that also puts pressure onto people. One, it allows you to really bring your game and kind of take a little pause and know that when you're back in the game and when you're back on the court, like you really have to deliver. And two, I just feel like it just makes things feel kind of fresh. It allows us to miss some of the housewives and not like watch them consistently, like what happened with Lisa Rinna, where we saw her consistently and then she became insufferable. Like, give them a break, give them like a 2-season break, and then bring them back. Continue to cycle them in and out. You know, that's when that's where I'm at. I'm happy with that. Melly Mel says, Zack looking fantastic. You were great on Juicy Scoop. Hope you're on more after you played well off of each other. Thank you. I feel like anytime I do anybody else's show, like people really like when I'm a guest on other people's shows. So people should have me more as guests. I think sometimes some of the podcasts, not Heather, but other podcasts are like scared to have me on because like, oh, he has hot takes, he has opinions. We're afraid of an opinion. We're too vanilla on our shows. Listen, I'll bring some spice. I'll get people amped up. I think it's fun and dynamic. But I'm glad everyone really liked me on Juicy Scoop. I enjoyed it very much. Heather and I had a great rapport. We had a good banter. We had good chemistry. I would love to come back anytime. Yeah. We shall see. I mean, even when I did Jeff Lewis earlier this year, like that went really well too. You know, he was like, people loved me when I was on Jeff Lewis. See, when I do other people's shows, I happen to be very great at them. I just am good at my job. But thank you guys. Kenzie says, I want more Housewives crossovers. Taylor Armstrong ruined it for us. She was such a dud. Well, I think she was just such a drunk, you know? I would love, like, with the Dorinda and Marge feud that's going on right now, like, I would love to see that play out. That would be more like, I liked the Ultimate Girls Trip because we would bring in different cast members from the past and we would see them interact with each other, which, by the way, I still can never forgive Caroline Manzo for ruining the Morocco trip for us. I just, these are the best days of our life. Oh, Joe says there was a shady comment on Juicy Scoop's YouTube episode that said that they enjoyed Zack being a guest more on Heather's show versus Zack being on his own show. The shade. Well, listen, I actually don't disagree with that, right? Because here's the other thing. A lot of people don't like my show because it's all me for the most part. Like, I don't often have a guest on every episode. It's a daily show. So I understand how I can become a little insufferable to some people. And maybe they need to take a break, right? Like, maybe they need to go fall out of their coconut trees again and like take a beat, right? Become unburdened by what has been and then return once they feel like they have been unburdened by what has been, because they exist in the context and all of which is and what came before you. So I understand how going on somebody else's podcast can be a bit refreshing. There's a bit of a rapport. There's, a difference of opinion. There's, that dynamic that you get to have. So I don't just, as much as I think that that question or that comment, Joe, was meant to be shady, I actually saw that and I didn't disagree with it. I was like, yeah, actually, I get it. I'm very enjoyable. Zack, do you have long sleeves in that logo? Oh, like a thermal? You want a thermal? Yeah, thank you. Remember? No, but I have this one, a regular T-shirt. You are so for the Zack Pack members. You better thank a union member. Ooh, look at that. Smell my pits. Look at that. Zack Pack. So if you're a member of the Zack Pack. This one's kind of fun. I don't know how often I would be wearing this one because it has like my face on it and it's kind of weird, but it's like meant to be like a band t-shirt, like a rock and roll old school band t-shirt. Oh, look at the back of the tank too, you guys. The back of the tank. It has all of our slogans on it. Welcome on in. Get it. Liddy City, Rocky, Bang, Bang, Ciao for now. All the fun slogans. I don't know if I missed anything on that, but yeah, it's so fun. Zack, do you like the Pussycat Dolls? Interesting question because the Pussycat Dolls are really just Nicole Scherzinger, and a bunch of backup girls. But yeah, I'm telling you to loosen up my buttons, babe. Cause you've been fronting me, saying what you gonna do to me. But I ain't seen nothing, babe. Yeah. Or Beep. Remember that song? Beep. You looking at my beep. I ain't playing. When you looking at my, when you're saying that my, remember that one? Yeah. We do have the Zack Pack hoodies, the classic Zack Pack hoodies. Those will be available as well. So yeah, all available. Dorit says that Melody. Dorit. Oh, don't say that to Melody from Peace. Sorry, I thought I read that as Dorit. But yeah, it looks like everybody's leaning more towards Team Dorit. I think I'm kind of leaning more towards Team Dorit. It looks like there's a clip from next week that's come out, and I don't know why Bravo's doing this now. Where like the episode just ends and then they already give us like the first few minutes of the following episode next week. And I'm like, it's too soon. Like, make us want to watch it. But so yeah, the damn it, I read Joe's shady comment and it threw me off my game. Joe said, "Can we get a Zack Pack raffle? The member gets to pick in the raffle. They get to ride the 4th of July guy and or Jimbo." Can you leave the guys in my life out of this? First of all, 4th of July guy has been done. Baby, you're a firework, and baby, you're over. You're done. Okay. The spark has blown out. Jimbo's great. I was just talking to him. I was texting with him last night. Might be seeing him this weekend. We'll see. I will wear the tank top when it snows and cold here in Norway, even when it is. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Birdie. But Kathy really kind of dominated this episode, right? Like she had her lampshade hats on, and she had her gifts that were just so awkward and random. But I'm sure, I mean, the robe with the initials on it, I think was nice because it was cute. It was cute, and it like was unique and like personalized, and I like those types of gifts. But like outside of that, I was kind of bored. Um, I mean, she's funny, and, like, them playing Duck, Duck, Goose was actually kind of, in a weird way, interesting and kind of funny, and, like, in a kooky way. It was, like, weird, but, like, okay. I mean, I don't know if that's really I feel like somebody tweeted this, and I agree with it, that, like, Beverly Hills is entering its RHONY era, where they're becoming women of a certain age, and they're getting a little zany and wacky, and they're all single now, and so I do enjoy that. So, yeah, there we go. Stupid. Stupid's back in the live chat. Hi, Stupid. That's the screen name is Stupid. Okay, I'm just gonna let people think that I'm calling somebody stupid in the live chat. Okay, Stupid says she needs to stop trying to make fetch happen. Oh, Kathy? Kenzie said, "Is Kathy like that in real life? I love her quirky." I think you mean quirky. I see people say that a lot, quirky, but they mean quirky. Quirk. Quirky personality. Not sure if I believe it. I mean, I think I do. I think Kathy's like out of touch, rich white lady. This is why I was like, we definitely don't need her full time. I like Kathy in a friend of capacity. I've always said that because we can keep her, in that quirky, zany sort of vibe, right? So, yeah. Annabelle Rocks says, "Zack, will you send that shirt to Adam?" Yeah, I'll send it. Why not? Zactivated or Zack Pack? Which one does he want? I'll send it to him. One for him and one for Jason. Bring Lala to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I've always said that of any of the Vanderpump people, Stassi and Lala would be the two that would be able to transition over. Lala would be interesting. Kathy has been out of touch most of her life. Money lets you get away with it. Yeah, I think she's also a bit older, right? Like the older you get, the more like zany you can be, and like how many fucks you give? 0, 0, none, not one. So I'm down with it. Kathy quote, "The toe that broke the camel's back." Yeah, I mean, listen, people enjoy Kathy. She's fun. She's uh quirky or quirky, as Kenzie said, quirky. Um, so yeah, I'm enjoying Kathy. I enjoy her too, but again, we need her in the friend of capacity because when we bring her outside of the friend of capacity, then we're going to see the Ramona side of her, and I think people are going to hate her, and that's why we need to protect Kathy by keeping her a friend of, you know, and just let that be. I want a Real Housewives with hot young women that just married old rich men, please. The thing is, old rich men have a lot of skeletons and a lot of secrets they want to keep, and so it's a bit more challenging and tough for them to, you know, want to put their lives out there. They have too much to lose at this point, and the show's been on for so long, and people have gotten canceled from the show, and scandals have broken, like Jen Shah, Erica Jane. So I think people are more reserved to join reality TV, especially with the reckonings that have come to certain reality stars. So all Bronwyn's. Bronwyn's great on Salt Lake City. I do enjoy her. Um, I do enjoy her for sure. But yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I guess on that note, we should probably move on over to OC with our bit of OC news. Our bit of OC. Ose, Ose, the princess is here. Sierra, this beat is automatic, supersonic, hip, Hypnotic, funky, fresh. Work that body so melodic just because I throw my chest. Well, Vicki is on a hot mic and she ain't looking so hot while doing it. But if you want to look hot this upcoming new year, then I highly suggest you give Lipozene a try because Lipozene is our sponsor this week. Lipozene is a weight management supplement that helps the customer to reach their desired weight by helping them feel fuller faster. With over 35 million bottles sold, Lipozene is one of America's most trusted weight loss management supplements. You don't need any drastic changes because Lipozene fits into the lifestyle that you're already living. Lipozene contains no stimulants and is non-GMO, gluten-free, and caffeine-free, which means there are no jitters. Okay, it's shipped directly and discreetly right to your door. It starts at just $29.95, and you have 1 month to try it. If you don't like the results that you get, you can call them back and return it for the full purchase price. There are terms and conditions that apply, but come on, shipping is absolutely free. Some supplements can cost up to like $500 a month, but with Lipozene, you can get started at just $29.95, a price that is accessible to just about anybody, right? So Lipozene contains an ingredient that has been scientifically studied to help support weight management with the combination of a balanced diet and a healthy lifestyle. The fiber in Lipozene can absorb water and expand up to 200 times its weight, and this is what helps you feel fuller quicker when you take it with water before each meal. So to start losing weight with Lipozene, all you need to do is take 2 capsules with 8 ounces of water at least 30 minutes before your 3 largest meals of the day. If no 2 days are the same, don't even worry about it because you can easily tailor your Lipozene dosages to your schedule. Okay, so give Lipozene a try. It's affordable, it's easily accessible, it's hassle-free. I've been taking it for the past 2 weeks so far, and I do like how it does make me feel fuller. So I personally like to take it later in the day with dinner or like right before dinner. That way I'm not going like ravenous and like wanting to. I'm a late night snacker. So rather than like tearing through the cabinets, I like that Lipozene does help me feel a little fuller to cut those late night cravings. So for the trial offer, you can go to lipozene.com. Be sure to use promo code NOFILTER, but go to lipozene.com to give it a try. Lipozene is LIPOZENE, lipozene.com. Go right now and use promo code NOFILTER. Okay, let's get it. You can jumpstart your new year goals. You can start a little early. You can curb your appetite. Ahead of the holidays. If you have big holiday meals coming up, great solution. I used it on Thanksgiving, and I surprisingly didn't eat as much as I thought I was going to. Give it a try. Okay. Let's get it, get it, get it. Vicki Gunvalson is getting it from the internet because they aren't happy with her. Why? Because she went out and dragged Nick Viall. Nick Viall. So she was just on the Viall Files, which is Nick Viall's podcast. Nick Viall is from The Bachelor. He used to be The Bachelor, and now he's a podcaster. So Vicki did his podcast. I didn't listen to her actual interview, but there was a clip going around, and the clip was circulating because I guess she called into the show rather than being like a guest in studio. She called in, and which is just so weird that like Nick Viall is like having Housewives of OC on his like you can tell he doesn't care about them. So, like, it's just interesting to see him pretend that, like, he cares about what's going on with the Real Houses of Orange County. But so Vicki finishes the interview, and then she, I guess, FaceTimed in. So then she ends the call, and she thinks that she hangs up, and she doesn't. And she's still on the call with Nick and his team. And so they don't cut the feed at all. They allow they allowed the call to still go on. So she puts the phone down. She's like talking to him, and then she puts the phone down. You see her put the phone down, but you can still hear her. Even though she doesn't have the phone head on anymore, you can still hear her. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that was a a favor I did for RHOBH, which is her podcast network. RHOBH is the one that produces her new podcast. And she's like, yeah, I just did that as a favor to them. And, he has like 7 million followers. So like I was a guest on his show and, whatever. She's like, I didn't even know who he was. I've never even heard of him before. But apparently he has like a popular podcast and gets like 7 million views or something. And so it was just really interesting and funny because it was this total hot mic moment. And it's so classic Vicki, but also so classic Housewives. But I just love how you see all I guess they're co-hosts. I don't know. He has like 15 people on this fucking podcast, and they're all more interested in the topics that he's talking about than he even is. But so they're listening to Vicki talk about the show and talk about Nick and kind of essentially trash Nick. And she's trashing him by being like, I've never even heard of him. I only did this as a favor to RHOBH. And so they're just sitting there and like pulling the mic away from them as they're listening to everything that she's saying and laughing at like how ridiculous this sounds. And then he even turns the mic away and he's like, wow, I'm just going to sit here and listen to the rest of this phone call. And so it's so shady that they continued to play the clip and then, or the call, and then they ended up airing it. But like, haven't we all kind of been there where you're like on a call and you think you hang up? I am always so afraid of this, right? Of like, I have to make sure like the call has been hung up. I always like sometimes will send voice notes and sometimes it'll be a little shady. And then I'll have to go back and be like, I need to make sure I sent that to the right person. And it happened to me one time. It did happen to me once recently with it was Jacques, my friend Jacques, who I talk about all the time. I was sending him a voice note and I was kind of going on some random like political rant. Or like making some stupid I was like shading somebody else, but like comparing them to like somebody in politics. And like they're so like this person and blah 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 blah. And that person said blah, blah blah. And I was like going on this whole little rant tangent for like 2 minutes. And then I sent it. And then I realized, oops, I didn't send it to Jacques. I sent it to this dude that I've been fucking for 5 years, And so then I was like, oh shit, unsend, unsend, unsend. I was like, he's never gonna sleep with me again after he hears, after he hears my politics. And so I was like, "Ooh, unsend, unsend, unsend." And then I tried to unsend it and then I unsent. But since he had already pressed play and it was a voice note, he got to listen to the entire voice note before the unsend was confirmed. So yeah, it was kind of funny. And then he was like, "Ooh," it's like he it was interesting. And I was like, well, never gonna hear from him again. And to my surprise, he came over the next day and we did it again and then had a brief conversation about it. But yeah, you know, it was interesting. So you always have to make sure you hang up the phone call. You have to make sure that before you hit send, it's going to the right person. All very important things because it will come back to bite you in the booty hole. And some people don't like to be bitten in the booty hole. Stupid says, my mom asked if I wanted to take my grandma to the store, and I said, ew, no. And she and she heard and called me a bitch. What? She my mom she called you and asked? Like it just like slipped out or like Surrey like copied it and sent it. There have been times where my grandfather likes to use Surrey, like the text to talk. And so he'll like be like, Surrey, send this to so and so, Ruben. Well, Ruben's dead now. All of his friends have like died in the last 3 years, which is like really sad. But like, and now he doesn't have many friends to like voice note to anymore because they're all going. But so Joe says that I like my booty bitten. How do you know that, Joe? Have I said that? But anyway, so my grandpa will be there and he'll be like, Surrey, text so and so this, whatever, right? And so Surrey will type it all out. And so normally he then likes to have Surrey repeat it back. He's like, and she's like, would you like me to send it? And he says, repeat it back. And then he makes sure that Surrey repeats it back and it's accurate because sometimes he mumbles a little bit and she doesn't always get him correctly. So every time he would be doing a talk to text and he would be and then Surrey would say, okay, are you ready to send it? And then from the back I would always say, send it. And then he would get so mad because he wouldn't get to hear what Surrey had relayed into the actual text. And so it would send, and sometimes it would send like wrong or with all these typos or whatever because Surrey wasn't that smart. And so, yeah, I would always do that. I would always say, send it. And then he would get so mad at me, like, grandson, why did you do that? It was funny. Cassie said one time I was talk texting while driving and someone almost hit me. Well, the text that was sent wasn't too pleasant. Oof. See? My dad calls me by mistake all the time. And then when I call him back, he gets pissed and says he never called. Old people, right? Am I right? Ba-dum-bum. Okay, so we talked about Victoria Gunvalson. We talked about Kyle versus Dorit. Let's talk about Katie Maloney baloney, because she's trying to sell us some baloney. So yesterday we talked about how Chef Penny is now moving forward in her lawsuit against Ariana and Katie, and that's now set for trial in March 2026, which a lot of people are saying that like the sandwich shop isn't even going to be around by then, which I agree. I was in Donna Bowling's live chat yesterday. She was doing her show, and I decided I wanted to go in and cause chaos. And so I was getting everybody to drag the sandwich shop just out of fun, right? Like everyone's like, why do you hate Katie and Ariana? You're such a hater. But so like just out of fun. And I was like, yeah, the trial is set for March 2026. And then someone's like, I wonder if the sandwich shop will be around in August 2025. So isn't that fun? Imagine if it goes to trial and by that point, like the whole sandwich shop is done by then. Can they even pay her? I guess Penny's hoping that they get some sort of settlement resolved before that point. But like, damn, Ariana has to deal with, Rachel's coochie, and now she has to deal with Chef Penny's pension. Like, I don't even know how. Listen, when you get money, that's when everybody wants to come out of the woodwork to sue you. But I wonder if Penny does win, if she will be entitled to 10% of whatever the profits were from something about her. So it doesn't appear that there's any like formal contract, but um it looks like Penny has like text messages or emails that like are in agreement with them. Like I think Penny is more of like, she's like, I have a text message to them that says like, oh yeah, I would like 10% of the business. And so that's like her receipt. And there was no objection to that. And she would continue moving forward working with them. But I don't think that there's ever a like confirmation in writing where they agreed to her 10%. And was it 10? And she wants 10% of the entire something about her business, not just 10% of that specific sandwich shop. And I think that's what they were fighting Penny on, is they wanted to give her the like, sure, we'll pay you a salary, you will have a job title, you will be employed by us, but you're not going to be a partner, and you only will gain profits from this specific location, not any other location, but just this specific one, because this is the one that you helped us open. To be fair, and people are like, well, Penny's just thirsty and Penny needs to get a real job. And I'm like, you guys do realize Penny does this for a living. Like she like is absolutely like a professional in this field. She's opened up places before. She's run successful culinary businesses in the past. Like that's why Lisa Vanderpump referred Penny to help Katie and Ariana, because Katie and Ariana were new to this world and needed, some guidance. And so that's what Penny's job will be. Or that's what Penny's job was. Christina says, but like, this is absurd. She didn't come up with the name. She just trademarked it without them knowing that she was the sole owner. Not necessarily. Her text messages show that they were aware that she was going to handle the trademark side of things. And yes, the trademark was issued under her name, but that's because she was under the impression that she was a partner in this as well. And I'm sure she wasn't trying to like hold the trademark, she was just the one that was actually running the business side of things, which made sense because this is her specialty. And that's why they brought her in, was to help establish the business, right? Because they hadn't done this before. And that's why Lisa Vanderpump connected them. She's acting like a partner there. Well, because she was under the impression that she was a partner. And I guess she's saying that there were conversations that were had with Ariana and Katie where she agreed to be a part, like they were, partners. Obviously, she was a smaller share partner, right? Because she was only asking for 10% of the profits, which means she had a much smaller portion in the company. Maybe only 10% of the company was going to be her share, whereas then Katie and Ariana would split the remaining 90%, which would be what, 45-45? Yeah. They just wanted her help. Yeah, her help starting the business. but help and then make a partner are two different things. Yes, I agree. And so that's what we're gonna have to decide was she just meant to be brought on as like a contractor that was supposed to help guide them? Like she was, some sort of like business guide, or was she, intentionally, but it also, you have to look at the timeline of it too, right? When they started this, they didn't really need, or they didn't really know what they were doing. They were a little worried and trepidatious, but at least they had the show to keep the sandwich shop afloat, or to at least bring in some interest, right? And then next thing you know, Scandal happens while they're getting ready to put this together. Scandal happens, the show blows up, and then the sandwich shop starts selling merch. Katie and Ariana decide we're going to sell some, I mean, in my opinion, low budget merch. There was just like really basic that I'm like, it seemed like a quick way to raise money, which was fine. The support was there and people wanted to support them. Um, but so everybody went and was buying up all the merch, and then they didn't want to give Penny a portion of that merch. And Penny was like, hold on, wait a minute. I thought I was a partner in this. And that's where the dispute happened, because they were now starting to make all this money from the success of Scandal. And Penny's like, wait a minute. I was here in the beginning. I should absolutely be entitled to this as well. So contracts are important. Contracts are important. I agree. I don't think Penny has a formal contract. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Dragonfly says it's always best to have lawyers involved in business deals. I agree. Jen says, I don't get the name something about herb. Her, like WTF. What does that have to do with the sandwich? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the name's cute. I don't think it's a bad name. I mean, some sandwiches are named worse. Some sandwich shops have worse names. Lori says, I never really thought about it, but the name is weird. Something about her. I mean, they explained it well on Vanderpump Rules. I think it's a cute name. I don't have anything wrong with it, because they wanted it to be like very feminine, like something about her sandwiches. They're so good. Something about her bologna. It's salty. You know? Laura says Subway isn't a great name either. Fair. Brittany says, to be fair, didn't Penny create all the sandwiches? How can they use her recipes without paying her? Well, so that's what happened. So she did create all the sandwiches, and she was the director of culinary and the COO, chief operating officer, which when you're the COO, like, yeah, you're running the business operations. That makes sense. However, they changed the menu because um, they changed the menu because Katie and Ariana weren't going to use, they were like, well, we're not going to pay you, you're not a partner, we're not working with you. And so they wanted to still make sure that they opened the sandwich shop. So then they just had somebody else kind of use these other sandwich recipes. They kept the same names, the Diane, the Cameron, whatever. The names were the same, but the sandwiches were not anything special. I mean, they have a BLT and like a tuna melt, and like you can get that at Subway, you know? I was even texting with Chef Stu about this the other day too, and I was like, this is kind of like, lamerton. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh shit, I have an event that I have to go to on Friday. Oh my god. Oh man. And now I need to find a date for this event. Oh goodness. But so yeah. But so Katie Maloney Baloney is saying that she actually, because now Vanderpump Rules has been canceled, so Katie went on her podcast. What is it? Dangerously, distinctively. What is the name of her podcast? Um, but so she went on the podcast to say that she actually already made the decision to not return to Vanderpump Rules before they officially fired the cast. I'm like, well, that's convenient. She said that she'd made the decision months ago that she wasn't returning to Vanderpump Rules, that she had no interest in returning to Vanderpump Rules. She didn't want to come back. So there you go. Katie Maloney had already made the decision to quit disrespectfully. Yes. Okay. There you go. Disrespectfully. Is that the name? That's the whole name? Disrespectfully? Interesting. But yeah. So she said, I wasn't fired. I quit. Snap. So I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. Sounds like a bunch of baloney to me. I think Ariana did too. You think Ariana quit too? Then why were there all these rumors that all of the cast were still in negotiations for their salary for the next season? We all believe her. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, come on. It's a convenient thing to say, but like how many times, like even Dorit was like, I wasn't going to come back this season. And then at the last minute, I decided to come back this season. It's like, were you really not going to come back? It's convenient to say that after you get fired, but then, were you really not going to come back? Were you really going to walk away from that paycheck? What was Katie going to do without the show? Something about her? Something about her is not going to be around much longer. And also, like, you're still going to be on the show because, like, you have to promote something about her. Like, that's how you know she's not even a smart businesswoman because it's like you want to stay on the show so that you can continue to promote the sandwich shop, right? The novelty of the show is what's going to keep people coming back for more, not because people like your BLT. Russ said she would have gone back. She wasn't going to lose that check. Not only that, but like in order to set up the success of the sandwich shop, like why do you think Schwartz and Sandy's closed? Because they found out that Vanderpump Rules wasn't coming back for another season. So it's like, yeah, why would we? It didn't make much sense. Elle says, I don't think so. I was just listening, but I wanted to spend time with the Zack pack. What don't you think so? Laura says she's going to be a receptionist. I told everyone. I don't know. I don't know what she's going to do. Well, now she has her podcast, and good for her. But listen, it's a lot to keep a podcast going, right? Everyone thinks like, I'm gonna start a podcast. It's gonna be popular. And like you can be popular for 6 months and then totally tank. Or you can be unpopular for 6 months and then start to take off, right? Like it's different. It's always ever evolving and ever changing. So I don't know what she's gonna do. I really don't know. She's gonna host emo nights with her sleeping sirens boo. Oh, that might be cute. Right until the wheels fall off. What is she gonna ride? Her boyfriend? Dragonfly Z says Katie has her beauty business. She can fall back on. What is her beauty business? Katie has a beauty business? What is that? Who is her beauty? What? That's not real. You're making up lies. Let's see. Katie Malone at Katie Maloney Baloney. Oh, it's Music Kills Katie. No, she has something about her and disrespectfully pod. musickillskate.com. What is on musickillskate.com? Oh, her merch. Yeah. I don't want peace. And then choke. I don't care. And then yeah. Her full collection. I don't want peace. And then they have her eyes. That's not a beauty business. Pucker and Pout he's making fun of. Well, that's not real anymore. I remember Pucker and Pout. It was like a collaboration with like lip glosses for like a hot second, and then that went away. I guess she can make convention money. No. They don't have a reality TV convention though. Well, I guess they have BravoCon. She's gonna be at BravoCon signing her merch, signing her old headshots. Like remember when Kim Richards used to do that on Real Houses of Beverly Hills? She would go back to those like old school cons, and they're like, "Oh my God, look it's the girl from Witch Mountain." Pucker and Pout, yeah. Nor is that chick on the podcast with her, Dana. Yeah, I don't know what Dana's doing. I don't think they're gonna start an OF account. She partnered with Quickies, press on nails. She did? But even like I said on Juicy Scoop, she's not a good influencer, you know? Sheena is a good influencer because Sheena's like, buy this product and here you go and get this. And like, I've never wanted to drink Smirnoff more than watching Smirnoff all over Sheena's Instagram. Sheena's a good influencer. She does her photos. She does her look at my outfits. She does her little vlogs. Like Sheena, she has her podcast. Sheena is an influencer. Sheena is a hustler. Like Sheena's always, she has her factor meals. She's like, hey guys, come and buy my factor meals. They're so yummy and they're so delicious as I'm running around with Summer Moon. It's so convenient. You just pop it in the microwave and eat it. I want to buy factor meals. I want to drink Smirnoff. I want a factor meal with the side of a Smirnoff, And I don't even like Smirnoff. But Sheena Shea makes me want to buy Smirnoff. Katie Maloney has never influenced me to do anything other than to fast forward her scenes on Vanderpump Rules. Sorry, not sorry. She sold mascara and makeup and lipstick and cream. Not cream. What? Agreed. Sheena is a good influencer. Yeah. Brittany, okay, the emo night creator was a Vlog Squad member, which is very toxic and not a good look. Katie is too old for that. What is a Vlog Squad member? Tori says, when you shaded her goodbye post on Juicy Scoop, I about fell out. Well, I mean, come on. Because everybody was like, oh my God. Everyone's writing these like long essays about like how sad it is, the end of Vanderpump Rules. And, they're like, even Sandy Balls was like, Sandy out. And, they're paying these tributes and going back to all these montages and photos. And Ariana did a whole scrapbook that she posted on Instagram with all the photos over the years. And she even like cut out Lala so that you can't see Lala on her page anymore. And like everyone put thought into it. And Katie's just like, LOL, see you guys later, with the theme song playing on a 15-second Instagram story. And I was like, what? Like, you were an OG on the show, and like it means this much to you. Miss you guys. Like, come on. Like, you could give it a little more. Like, this was like a significant chapter in your life. It was 12 years of your life. You were on this show with your friends. It helped you build a business. It helped you lose your marriage. Like, give it something. I mean, it sums up Katie. Yeah, lazy. Lazy and uninspired. So it was just really funny because everybody, even Joe, Schwartz's crazy ex-girlfriend Joe, even she wrote, like, remember that long like that whole essay, and she put all the photos, and then she posted an Instagram story on top of that. And she was just like, if the new cast ever needs something, I'm here to spread the love. She did not cut Lala out. She did cut Lala out. If you look at the photos, because they're all like scrapbooky, right? Where the photos are like cropped differently and like it's like spread through like the full whatever number of stills. And if you scroll through it and you see it, there were photos where they were group photos and Lala was in them and she cut Lala out. Is Sheena even in that? Let's look at it right now. Ariana Max. Is she stopped following me a long time ago. It's okay. Wow, she still follows Danny Pellegrino and Ryan Bailey, Kiki Monique. Wow, but she doesn't follow. Oh, she follows Lala. That's interesting. I did not see it ending this way. Yeah, see, she has this. I'm surprised she didn't put any music to it. So we see Katie and Stassi, and Sheena's there, Pandora's there, Brittany's there, Kristen's there. We see Ariana dancing, and we see Ariana with the producer, and then we see Katie and Kristen Doty, and then we see Stassi, and is that Sheena? I guess that's Sheena. Yeah. We see her dancing on the bar. We see her with Sheena and Kristen. And then we see her with Katie Maloney Baloney. And then we see her with even Kyle Chan's in here. And we have Katie and whoever this random dude in the middle is. And then here's the photo that she cut Lala out of. She literally, so it's the reunion photo. And Lala is right there next to Katie Maloney Baloney. And she totally just cut her out. Because Lisa Vanderpump is still in there. She has her, Lisa, and Katie. And straight up cut Lala out. But didn't just cut Lala out. She made sure we could still see Lala's shoe in the corner there. So we know. Because like we could have cropped that a little bit more, right? Like we could have cropped the photo like right there. But no, she made sure to have it cropped in enough where we could see Lala's little heel in the bottom and her legs sticking through. That is shade. James Kennedy is in her montage. So many photos of Katie, my God. Allie is in there. Schwartz is in there. Her ugly boyfriend Dan is in there. Brock is in there. Yeah, see? Everybody but Lala. Oh, that's why she didn't put music. Because she did videos and you want to make sure you can hear the videos. Okay, that makes sense. Sharon says, I would have cut Lala out of the photo. Awesome. Well, I mean, but like you can't erase that Lala was part of the show too, right? Like if you're honoring the legacy of the show, then like you have to honor like everybody that was part of the show. I never thought that they were friends. They were like frenemies. Her ugly boyfriend, Dan. He's not okay. Who here, raise your hand if you think Dan is hot and you'd be like, yeah, let me grab that man bun. It's not even a man, but it's like like I don't like his hair. His hair is like so like sorry. Listen, ugly is subjective, right? Like I'm not saying that he's objectively ugly. I'm saying that to me, I don't particularly want to bang him, you know? But like good for her. I would rather bang Sandoval. But also red flags like are the way to my heart, you know? His face is not it either. Well, Cheryl, I'm glad you said it, not me. Her montage. Yeah, her whole montage. No, his hair is weird. Thank you. I love an Asian man. I don't, yeah, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Asian men. I'm saying there's something wrong with him. Don't make me racist. Okay. Asian men are great. I've slept with plenty of Asian men. That one, not my type, you know? Dan's hair gives me dirty vibes. Yeah, he's got a great body. Yeah. If I could, yeah, just gonna stop myself there. My mouth gets me into so much trouble. You guys, there's this one guy that used to go to my gym, and he goes to, or well, he doesn't go anymore because he's like switched gyms, and he's kind of like my neighbor. And I used to have like a little bit of a crush on him, but now I'm kind of over it. But so anyway, he's really hot. And he has another friend that's also really hot. So they're like two hot friends together and they're like besties and they go everywhere together, right? They're like always like going to workout classes and going to concerts and going to dinner with their mom and like, all this stuff, right? And so I was like, I know they're not dating because like one of them's all over the dating apps and like claims to be single. The other one I don't really see all over the dating apps, but like I'm pretty sure he's also single. And so finally, like they posted a photo together, like at the gym, just finished working out. And so finally, I just like responded to the Instagram story. I'm like, I can't tell if you guys are BFFs or you're banging or both. Send. And I was like, I'm not even drunk. I just do this shit to like I sometimes I just like there are things that like you probably shouldn't say, you probably shouldn't send, and then you do. Like Andy was hosting his Friendsgiving, Andy from the Pop Report. He was hosting Friendsgiving, and I was very excited that he still, invited me to the dinner party. But so I went to the dinner party, and then one of his friends, um, I was questioning him about his relationship because he's like, okay, I'm just gonna say it. So he has this friend, and the friend has been dating this guy for like 2 years, right? And I've never seen this guy. I don't see him on social media. I've met this friend like multiple times, at least 4 times I've hung out with this particular friend. Never had his boyfriend, never talks about his boyfriend, never really references his boyfriend. So finally, I meet the boyfriend at Friendsgiving. And I was like, oh my God, how nice to meet you. I'm so glad that so and so decided to let you out of the closet. Like, I was wondering where this secret boyfriend was. I had heard of him, but it was like Bigfoot. I didn't think he ever really existed, but like I had kind of heard of him, And so I was like making jokes, right? Here's the secret boyfriend, finally out of the closet. And then later in the night, I was, because they were both talking about their situations and they each have roommates and how they each hate their roommates. And I'm like, well, you guys have been dating for 2 years. Like, if you both hate your roommates, why don't you just move in together? Like, that seems like a logical thing to do. And then they were like trying to explain to me like why they don't live together, but like they've been together for 2 years. And I'm like, okay. But you both hate your roommates and you've been dating for 2 years. Like, is this going somewhere? Is this not going somewhere? And I was like, do you have commitment issues? So like everybody else in the room was like, oh, like everyone was like like audibly gasping, not even like quietly gasping or like making Kyle Richards faces. They were like audibly gasping at my questions. But I'm like, I have questions. And like, if anything, like sure, there are sometimes things that I shouldn't say. And I usually learn that lesson after I say them. But I think that if anything, it encourages you to open up the dialogue and then you have those conversations, right? Apparently, I was in trouble after that dinner party. And he was like, yeah, that was probably not the move to make. Like, it definitely led to, yeah, probably did not end their night very well. But I'm just like, hello. I mean, come on. What do you think? You just fell out of a coconut tree? Like, if you've been in a relationship with somebody for 2 years, why aren't they on your Instagram story? Why aren't you like, babe, rub my feet? I mean, like being all cute on Instagram, right? Like, and like not only that, but then you never bring him around. Like he's never out at any of your events. He's never out at your dinner parties or your friendsgivings or anything. Like he just doesn't exist. And this is the first time, like, and I met you a year ago, and I've never, ever known who your boyfriend is or what he looks like, you know? Zach being the voice of the people. Thank you. Listen, everybody at the damn dinner party that was like, oh, what? You asked if they have commitment issues? I'm like, you were thinking it. So shut up. You were thinking it in your head, and I just vocalized it. Okay. You're welcome. Because guess what? Now you got the tea. Who gave you the tea? Zach Peter. No filter with Zach Peter will always deliver the tea. So you're sitting there at the dinner table eating your mashed potatoes, and you're just like, oh, sipping your martini. And guess what? You got home. You get to go home with some tea, and you got the little inside scoop on the relationship, because I bet you were thinking the same thing. Why haven't they moved in together if they both hate their roommates and could technically live together because they've been dating for 2 years? Otherwise, why are you dating for 2 years? Why not? Like, where's the relationship going? Is somebody going to put a ring on it? Do you even want to get engaged? Or are you going to open up this relationship? Do you want children? Like, hello, logical questions to ask. You know, your honesty is refreshing. I'm glad you think so. Other people don't tend to find my honesty refreshing. Mallory's like, commitment issues. I know. I mean, are these not valid questions to ask, though? You know? Birdie says, I agree, Zach. You say what we are thinking. Thank you. Christina says, no boundaries, all truth. Thank you. Lizzie said it led to a conversation, all right, behind your back. Oh, and that's okay. Listen, well, it was I heard about the conversation that happened afterwards, and I definitely got myself in trouble. But listen, you can't invite me to a party with alcohol and not expect me to, like, be me. Hello? Do you know have you met me? You know? Katie Maloney had an interview at Walmart, and that is why she kept her montage short. Oh, she was in a rush. Got it. Christina says, only Hispanics do this, I swear. Do we? Especially on the holidays. I mean, maybe that. Listen, I just don't have boundaries. I should. I'm still waiting for the guy from the gym to tell me if, like, he is banging his best friend or not. But then I sent it this morning. I sent it, and I was like, shit, I probably shouldn't have sent that. That's because he's gonna be like, "What? You're asking?" Like, I don't know. Is that too personal of a question? But, like, if you're with your best friend and you're, like, constantly posting about him all over the internet and you guys are constantly hanging out together, isn't it a normal, valid question to be like, "Hey, are you guys fucking or not?" Like, I'm just curious because I don't know. And, like, I wanna know, like, should I picture you guys fucking or, like, you don't fuck? You know? Is that crazy? Like, I don't think that's crazy. Stupid says, "Your honesty is refreshing as long as it's not aimed at me." See, that's what everybody likes. Everyone's like, "We love it. You're so honest. You're so no filter." And then once it comes to them and they're in the hot seat, and they're like, "I don't like this game anymore." Like, Marianne Stout says, "You ask the questions everyone wants to ask, but no one had the balls." Thank you. Are you invited to the next gathering? We have yet to see. We have yet to see. What did Lori say? Lori said, I don't care. He seems like a D-bag. Who, me? Mallory says, imagine that night the boo thing was like, okay, I will finally go to your friend's invite for the first time, and this is what they get. I mean, yeah. I did ask about that. I was like, why have we never seen you before? Like, why have you never been here? Like, I've seen so and so out all like at all these fun events. And like, hello, why have we never met you before? You know? And he was like, well, tonight I actually had the time and the availability and I could do it. And I was like, yay, honey, I get to meet your friends tonight. And then you meet me. Well, you know, it's so true. It really is. Wait, Zach is Hispanic? I always thought he was East Asian. What is considered East Asian? Yes, I'm Hispanic. My friend's husband since 2020. Oh, what happened to your friend's husband? Oh, he was the D-bag. Got it, got it, got it. Jen says, I thought I was the only one that pictures everyone having sex. Right? You know? Birdie says, it's not crazy. You are truth serum, Zach. Joe says China is East Asian. Then why not just say Chinese? You're not going to offend me because guess what? I'm not Chinese or East Asian. Is there a difference between East Asian? I'm going to get myself canceled. I'm just going to shut my mouth now. Christina says, you're going to be the person people they warn their friends about when going over to parties. Yeah. You know, Sassy says, Zach, do you think Brynn will have fit in better with the OG cast? No, because I think there was that generational gap, right? Of like the OG cast and the new. That's why Leah struggled to find her footing with the new cast. And I think Brynn would have been the same, to be honest with you. Oh, Joe says, well, East Asian could be Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Got it. So they said East Asian so that they didn't offend me because I could have been any of those. Got it. Laura says, yes, Zach will be there. Be strong. How was the body language? A little tense, a little tense in the room, but like my body language wasn't tense at all. I was thoroughly enjoying it. I didn't think the commitment issues question was that like jarring until I heard the, and then I was like, oh, I thought that was a very valid question to ask. If you're not willing to move into your boyfriend after 2 years when you hate your roommates, like, the more you know. Thank you, Joe. Brynn doesn't fit in anywhere. I disagree. I think Brynn needs a group of her own sort of peers. Sharon said you were having fun watching the reactions. I was having more fun questioning them more than I was watching the reactions. Like for once, I wasn't really trying to pay attention to anybody's reactions. I was just like living in the moment. #live, Hanging with my bitches. #live. You are my fire. Jen says, woo, I'm at work. Thank God I have my headphones in. Why am I saying bad things? Jen says, I wish you were at my friend's dinner party. The people that regularly attend suck. Listen, I can't make them suck any less. You were having fun watching. Yeah, was a lie detector test involved? No, I am the lie detector test. Birdie says, if you were from Norway, I was your best friend. I love the honesty. Thank you. All right. We are well over time. But I just figured that last little bit of combo was very lively, right? Like how fun. Went on a little. I was definitely Zactivated that night, just in a very different way, in a chaotic way. But listen, my take is either they're going to break up or they're going to go all in the relationship and they're going to move in together. Either way, I helped foster, that forward, and I helped open up that dialogue. So there you go. There you go. Thank you for listening to No Filter with Zach Peter. That's me. Stay tuned. New merch is dropping next week. Stay tuned. Holla. $1 makes me holla. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Give me a follow. Just find Zach to follow me all over the internet, or you can follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach on Instagram. Be sure to tune into the Pop Report and Disaster Daters. First 2 seasons of Disaster Daters are out now. In the Pop Report, we have a new episode that dropped today. So let's get it. Let's get it. Zach giving. You show up, get drunk, and Zach critiques your life choices. Now I keep singing Holy Spirit, Zactivate. Oh, Holy Spirit, Zactivate. What is the full lyrics of that? Oh, I forgot about that. That's a throwback. Oh my goodness. All right. Holy Spirit, Zactivate. All right. I just tuned in and the armpit hair needs to go. Excuse me, Candy Box. How dare you shame me? All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.